All right, guys, welcome back to the Pocket Mads channel. It's Maddie here. Today we have another deck showcase. Coincidentally, we're playing Jolteon EX. We were live with ranked battles last night. It was a lot of fun. We spun the wheel. We played random decks. People really wanted me to play Jolteon. It's seemingly a very popular deck list, and it did work pretty well for us on the ranked ladder last night. So I realized I haven't actually really highlighted this Jolteon deck or had, a gameplay showcase of this deck yet. So why not our first sort of, Masterball ranked gameplay video of this season? Let's play Jolteon. Here's the deck list. So double Jolteon EX, double beginning Bolt Jolteon. This card is absolutely broken. Double boosted evolution Eevee and then an Eevee EX, so a 3-4 lineup. Double Eevee bag, double Rocky helmet, one copy of red, a lot of extra damage modification, double Cyrus and one Sabrina, double research, double copycat with one Pokeball. This is just a commonly played version of Jolteon. So this is sort of the list that I'm going to be running with here. And I really do like this list, mainly because I think that Jolteon is actually the fastest paced deck in the entire game, or at least one of them. Of course, other decks are fast-paced, things like Blaziken and Hydreigon, which can pop off on their second turn with rare candy. The cool thing about Jolteon is it doesn't really require rare candy, so it's an aggro deck in my classification, not so much a high roll deck, but it's really, really good into a number of different matchups. A number of matchups are honestly not that good for Jolteon, but I do think this deck is somewhat underrated. It's, never fully caught on, mainly because I've never really interpreted this deck as like a true top-tier contender. But, in a metagame, of course, with lots of Oricorio and Magnezone and Suicune Greninja, this is a deck that theoretically, can do something, I think. And I really do like it. So we're going to go ahead, give it a spin, and we're going to just see how it works out today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. But also, don't forget to register for PMPT number 17, our weekly community tournament series. This is the last tournament of the season before our invitational tournament. So this is sort of a last chance qualifier. Link to register down in the description below. I would heavily recommend that you guys go and play. Maybe play Jolteon, who knows? Anyway, how's the ranked grind going for you guys? I have not played many games. We're at just under 3,000 ranked here. And again, been playing pretty casually, but I'm excited to play some Jolteon and see, how this goes. Last season, I think we ended in like the top 600, so I grinded pretty heavily to get into that top 1,000 spot. But this season, I don't have that much time on my hands realistically. And yeah, I do like Jolteon. I think it's a fun deck. I think it's really fast paced, and I think those are two things that typically work pretty well in ranked battles, right? Winning fast and losing fast. Those are things that we can kind of value, I think, when we're playing Jolteon. But the other cool thing is, as you might see in this particular video, is beginning Bolt Jolteon, one of the more underrated cards in the entire game because of boosted evolution Eevee. Basically, beginning Bolt here does 60 damage, or does 40 damage, but it does 60 damage if, of course, we've evolved on the turn that we are attacking, and we have a single energy attack cost. But boosted evolution means that we can evolve on the first turn that we have Eevee in play. So as you're maybe about to see here, into this Froakie, we're actually going to be able to KO it on our first turn, which is really, really cool. So going second, hyper aggressive, beginning Bolt Jolteon is just a really strong card. Now, this is a deck list that most people are playing, but in my estimation, it's kind of like a little bit sketchy, mostly just because we're only playing one Pokeball. Jolteon EX, of course, is a decent card, but it's, it's a little bit lacking. It looks like we're going to be playing Dark Greninja here. Yeah, I think the thing about Jolteon is the pacing's really great, but it doesn't have a lot of legs in terms of like in the mid to late game. It's probably going to end up struggling a little bit in that respect. Jolteon EX is kind of needed in most different ways here. What we're going to do immediately is just KO this. There's really nothing else to do in our hand, honestly. So I think we're just going to KO the Froakie here, and then I guess also KO the Chingling, but this Darkrai will get built up eventually. We are going to be able to maybe Sabrina it up into the active, but without another Eevee, we're just never going to be able to really win games, which is why I don't know if I love the one Pokeball in this deck list, but this is what people are playing commonly. So I guess with double Copycat, double Research, 3 basics in the deck, it's not necessarily, needed for us to, play I guess more than one Pokeball, but it does feel a little bit sketchy to me. So, feel free to maybe cut something from the deck for an extra Pokeball. We're playing double Eevee bag and red. There's definitely a world where maybe we just play, I don't know, maybe we just play one Eevee bag, one red, or like no red. I don't know. The damage numbers to me I'm a bit experienced with the deck, so I don't know like what the particular break points we would need all of these particular cards for, but I guess Rocky helmets, Eevee bags, red, we need extra damage, which I think is what this is all about. Our opponent's a little bit upset that we KO'd his Froakie, seemingly. He's going to he's going to copycat us, copy the 4 cards. Now, this turn, we can just KO Chingling, and then we are going to get a free attack turn onto Darkrai. But what's scary here is if we do draw that Pokeball, we're not going to be able to play it. Coincidentally, Jolteon does have 90 total HP, I believe, but that does mean that we're going to get KO'd by Darkrai. So we're going to need Jolteon EX, I think, if we're going to really want to do anything here. We can Sabrina this turn, which might be a good move for us, but it might not really matter too much. So we'll see. Yeah, the copycat. Okay, so we're definitely just going to copycat this turn. Makes me want to just play the EV bag, which I'm going to do here just to... Oh, I can't because of item cards. Oh, that's pretty funny. Okay, well, then we can't heal, so I guess Darkrai will be able to just KO us, which is unfortunate on his ping turn, but whatever. Maybe we'll get an EV bag on this following turn. In our hand here, again, really poor. So we're going to see the issue with Jolteon, I think, in this video multiple times, which is that, you know, it's really aggressive, but you know, if your opponent has anything that's like a little bit slow burn or something that they can kind of get into the mid to late game that's pretty strong, Jolteon might struggle with it just because there's really nothing else, you know, that you can do here. Unless we top deck an EV or something here, we're just not going to be able to win. We're -5 card advantage, by the way. The only card we've played really is the Jolteons and then the copycat. So no researchers have been found, and nothing really has been found. He's going to copycat, reverse copycat, I would assume, here to try to drop his hand size. Again, 1 Pokeball in the deck, double EV in our deck, as well as double research and 1 more copycat. So we're going to take 20 more damage here. And again, the item lock is down, but he's going to be able to just attach and then KO us next turn and then get a free attack on whatever else there is, which is a little bit sketchy, but we do have Jolteon EX in hand. We top deck a Pokeball. That's actually somewhat perfect, I would say, which is pretty cool. So the question that I have here is, I guess we have to just stay in, but we're going to take 80 damage, which means we probably just lose this game outright. I don't think there's really ever a world here where we don't lose this game. I'm trying to think, because if he just attaches, he's going to deal 20, he's going to bring an EV and then hit it for 80 damage, which is just not going to work for us. If this was boosted evolution EV, that would have been a little bit different because we could have retreated and gone into it, but we Pokeballed for EV EX. And I think that this means we probably just lose the game here. I'm trying to think if there's like a scenario maybe otherwise. Maybe, well, I guess technically not because we live a hit. So, you know, we could potentially draw into like a red. I guess we could top deck a red to KO the Darkrai, or Rocky Helmet to maybe force a tie, I guess. But he's just gonna hit us for 80 here, so it's not looking very good. And again, he doesn't have to attach next turn or anything, right? So it's not looking great. Maybe if we draw, what do we draw? Yeah, it's just Jolteon EX. Okay, RIP. Nothing. There's literally nothing we can do. Sadly, we're just a little bit short here. Even with the Rocky Helmet, double EV bag, and red in our deck, there's just nothing we can do. Unfortunately, Jolteon just can't get over the Darkrai. Yeah, I mean, in a different world potentially where we draw other cards, maybe that works, right? We did have EV bag. We could have drawn one of our EV bags to heal and then get above that 20 HP threshold, so that the Jolteon didn't take an attack there. Some things could have happened, but everything that just happened that game was pretty much unavoidable, and is I think a really good illustration of Jolteon and the parts that this deck probably might struggle in, which is that that early pacing and the aggression of this aggro deck is really, really cool. But if you don't draw into the rest of your cards, the only thing that really has any substantial power is going to be Jolteon EX. And, as we saw there, the single Darkrai is just going to be able to handle us pretty interestingly. We could have not copycatted and kept our hand as is, but I mean, we were kind of forced to copycat to try to look for the EV, right? And the turn that the following turn, if we held it, we had EV bag in hand, so we could have done that, but again, no guarantee that we just top deck what we need anyway. So could have been a play. We could have waited another turn, EV bagged and then copycatted. Like in retrospect, that would have made sense, but we had double EV bag in our deck. So, all right. So now we're going first with boosted evolution. So no EV EX in hand, but we do have beginning Bolt Jolteon in hand. So we could evolve this first turn into Jolteon EX and put some pressure on that way. It really depends on what we're playing here. But we got to be a little bit careful of that. We do have EV bag, Rocky Helmet in hand. It looks like we're playing another Dark deck. Is this also Dark Greninja, or is it? Oh, it's Dark Magnezone. Okay. All right. So what's cool about this is if we can get a Jolteon EX, we can put some pretty interesting pressure on our opponent. Sabrina's interesting and Copycat. Right. Okay. I mean, sure. So, all right. So we're going to hold the hand. Next turn, we can potentially just KO this Magnemite, but then we have to worry about the Mega Absol, which is always a little bit scary, you know what I mean? Pokeball comes down here. And let's see what our opponent's got here. He's just going to attach active, potentially just pass the game or pass the turn. He's going to go ahead and research, Pokeball research turn 1. He does have another basic. I don't know if he wants to bench it or not. The Rocky Helmet comes down. That's a big deal to some degree. It's a slightly big deal here. Yeah, he's just going to pass. Okay. Oh, and we do get Jolteon EX. I don't hate this play. I was going to say we could just go Beginning Bolt Jolteon and we could Sabrina. That's like one play. The other play here is to evolve Jolteon EX and just attach and pass, because if he attaches active, he'll take 20 damage, and then we could potentially set up like a 2-hit KO scenario there, but it's a little bit also kind of sketchy to do that. If we Sabrina, he's just going to bring up the Chingling, but then we don't take Rocky Helmet damage and we live a turn from Mega Absol anyway, but then we're probably going to be forced to copycat. It only has 3 cards in hand. I'm just going to make like a random call here, and I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to evolve into Jolteon EX, like so. And then we're going to hold this turn. We could Sabrina this turn. I don't know what that really does for us, other than force him into Chingling, which wouldn't really do much. So I'm honestly just going to pass, I think. We'll wait to copycat next turn. We'll EV bag, heal a little bit, hit, and then maybe potentially just draw into like another EV to maybe finish this off. I don't know if Beginning Bolt Jolteon's ever going to do enough, but we could just sort of, it depends on what we top deck, right? The Tyrogue's very interesting, and he does have the Clement here to search for a Magneton, although I guess at least one Magneton is in his hand. He might be playing a 1-1-1 lineup, which is crazy, but he only has 1 card in hand now, which is obviously a little bit suspect. He's going to take a little bit of damage here on the Magneton, and I assume he's just going to attach active and attack us here. Not sure what he will be discarding. That is sort of the interesting question. Although what's tough here is that if we hit him, we're going to KO ourselves, right? What's he going to grab here? Does he grab Copycat? I'm not sure why he would. He probably is going to grab Red, but that's probably not a great play either. He does grab Red. Okay. He takes Rocky Helmet damage as well. If we EV bag, he's still going to KO us, so we just need a basic Pokemon, which, again, we just don't have, sadly. So, guess we could have Copycatted last turn. We'll go for the heal, I suppose. But I'm pretty sure we just get smoked this turn. I guess we literally have to Copycat to 1, which obviously is not going to work out very well for us. But who knows? Maybe we get lucky. If we don't, all right, GG. GG Jolteon. Just can't, we can't do it. It's just, the deck just doesn't have enough going for it. We just lose to the old going second Absol in the active. It's a little unfortunate, but I mean, Jolteon just, I mean, there's nothing else it can do, you know what I mean? There's certain scenarios where it's going to be really strong, and there's certain scenarios where it's not. But again, you know, back-to-back games, we've kind of struggled to find, you know, those basic Pokemon. Our opponent's BMing us, by the way. He's just straight BMing. We'll let him BM us, and I appreciate it, because you know what? Rest in peace to Jolteon. You know, and people will comment about the decks, you know, for like, they'll comment what they want. People are going to be like, why are you playing one Pokeball? The people all playing Jolteon are playing one Pokeball. I'm just playing the list that everyone's playing. So that's the reason for that. And I don't edit out gameplay in my videos, so I like to be authentic with it. I'm just going to press record and play. If that means we lose all of our games, then we lose all of our games. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, that game there, I mean, literally no draw power, didn't draw Pokeball, didn't draw any other EVs. We could have evolved into Beginning Bolt Jolteon, but the same thing would have happened there. There wouldn't have been any difference. He can't win the game with a single Jolteon, which is why I said in the beginning of the video, it's a little bit sketchy to just be playing one Pokeball in the deck. That's my opinion. But, you know, what are you going to do? I guess, right? There's nothing else you could do. This is also a deck that probably doesn't love to go as first as much as it likes to go second. This definitely feels like a going second deck, mainly because you can get that Beginning Bolt attack off first, or you can get the first attack off with Jolteon. In that scenario, like in the head-to-head, you're just going to lose to an Absol every time, especially because, well, they went second, right? If we went second, we could have won the head-to-head, but in that particular scenario, not very good. We are leading EVEX, which is kind of also worst case scenario in that sense, just because we can't evolve on our first turn because it's not boosted evolution. So also unfortunate. And our hand is also not very good. So again, we'll see what we can do here. We do have double research, double copycat. I don't think we've drawn a single research this entire video, but the Heatmore lead into the Torchic lead. We do have Sabrina and Cyrus in hand, so we might be able to put a little bit of pressure on that Torchic this turn. It depends on if he gets yet another basic down. He doesn't. Okay, so that's good for us, I guess. And it's Jolteon EX, actually. So this does change things a little bit for me, I think. So what we're going to do here is attach, and then we could just like attack this turn because we do have Cyrus. That is like one play we could do. We could Sabrina and then just hit this Torchic for 30 and then force him to retreat. Or we could evolve Jolteon and then he's just going to attach to Torchic anyway. But I think we want to do this because if he evolves Combusken, how much HP does Combusken have? I think it has like 80 or something. But he could rare candy, right? So I think what we want to do... The thing is, Jolteon will just get KO'd by the Torchic, which is pretty funny. Or by Blaziken. It will just get 1 KO'd. So I'm going to do this play and hope that he just doesn't go like, you know, Blaziken next turn or whatever. Because we're just not going to have enough damage to ever KO unless we draw another Eevee. But again, it's not that likely. Doing it this way gives us more total damage. I don't know if it really matters, but, you know, we're going to do it this way regardless. Pokeball comes down. And he does get the second Torchic, which is a little unfortunate. But, hey, you know, what can you do? So, my question here is, you know, he'll probably attach to that Torchic. We don't play any hand disruption, so we don't know really what's going to be going on there. And again, our hand is pretty rough. So here's the deal. I'm just going to evolve Jolteon. And I'm just going to KO him. Because, like, if we could leave it in the active. But if he's got Blaziken, he's got Blaziken either way, right? And, like, we got to be proactive. I don't think not attacking this turn is going to do anything for us. So just going to KO the Torchic and then maybe, potentially... You know, he doesn't have Blaziken next turn. The thing about Jolteon, again, is that you're at 140, which is typically a pretty good amount of HP for most thresholds, but it's definitely not really enough. Like, Blaziken is for 140. You know, Suicune with Greninjas and stuff can definitely extend. Am I wishing now that we had kept the Sabrina? Maybe. But he's not going to attach, right? So he's just sort of trying to play off the draw. And he's just trying to, he probably has Blaziken. We're probably just going to get KO'd next turn. But there's literally nothing we can do about it. He just, he drew into Pokeball second Torchic, right? So he has the benefit of doing this. Also gets Combusken, which is crazy. I'm expecting a Blaziken here, unless he gets pretty unlucky. He's got 10 cards in deck, but we got to expect the Blaziken's coming out. Yeah. Pretty likely. Again, no other basic Pokemon. No Pokeball or anything. And there's the Blaziken. Yo, poor Jolteon. We haven't displayed Jolteon very, very well in today's video, but to be honest with you, everything's been out of our hands. I think we're just sort of accurately showcasing what Jolteon does, which is that you either win early or you just can't really win games against most things in the game because Jolteon itself is a pretty weak card. Even if we had a second Pokemon there, it just wouldn't have done anything because we never would have been able to make anything happen, you know what I mean? There's literally no way around that game. He just gets the second Torchic down, and we just KO both basics, and then he goes like turn 3 Blaziken, 1 KOs. Like that's, you know, a Blaziken's probably a bad matchup, I would imagine, for Jolteon. I can't imagine that's a good matchup. But have we hit any good matchups for Jolteon? What have we played? We played Dark Greninja. What was last game? I forget even what we played last game. We're 0-3 with Jolteon, and you know, you'd be crazy to think I'm not going to upload all of those losses because I 100% am. In ranked, you take your losses. You know what I mean? You take your wins, you take your losses. Am I that confident in Jolteon for a ranked deck? I mean, it wouldn't be my first choice. I'm making this video just because I assume people like Jolteon. So maybe I'm convincing people not to play Jolteon. I don't know. We're going first here. Also probably into Blaziken again, which is great. Beginning Bolt Jolteon, or sorry, and Boosted Evolution Eevee. Oh, no, this is Eevee EX. Okay. So this is interesting. We can evolve here, which I am actually just going to do to kind of pressure a little bit of damage onto this Torchic. And we do have Pokeball in hand. So we actually do have the ability to do something. But he's going second. So again, I'm pretty sure the game, we'll just lose this game regardless of what happens here, because we're never going to be able to attack this Torchic before he can just possibly turn to KOs, right? So that's something. We could have maybe like not evolved and then evolved into like beginning bolts. Like maybe that's the play into Blaziken, is try to go like 1-1-2. But that doesn't seem, that great. We also never really drew into it. He's going to research turn 1 here, which is, all good. But he's got to attach, right? Because if he doesn't attach, he can't KO in the following turn with Blaziken. Which means he will take some damage. But we don't play any hand disruption, right? Heatmore comes down. He could attack. I don't think attaching and retreating would be a bad play from him. We're just going to assume that he has Blaziken in hand and that he's just going to KO us. on turn 2. He's just kind of banking on it because we went first, yeah. So he just has the Blaziken rare candy stuff in hand, and we have no hand disruption, so we don't have any way to actually counter that, which is tough. We do have one Sabrina in the deck, but that's not really going to do anything for us, is it? Okay, so the play I think now is to just retreat, sadly, but that's literally the only thing we can do. Well, Rocky Helmet here. And yes, I went into this one because the EVEX will just get KO'd. And then we're going to wait on the beginning Bolt Jolteon. And then I guess on the following turn, it doesn't really work. Like if we hadn't evolved the active into, like if we had just not evolved and then gone into beginning Bolt, and then we could have KO'd the Torchic, but he would have just retreated had that possibility been in play. You know what I mean? We've hit Blaziken back-to-back games, which I think is a really bad matchup here. Oh, it's actually Combuskin, which is crazy. So, okay. Which is fine. We can still KO it with beginning Bolt Jolteon. If he stays in, that is. And he's already taken damage, so we can Cyrus it back in regardless. But if he stays in and attacks, that's a really sketchy play from him. I don't really know why he would do that. The Furfrou comes down, so we're definitely going to see the retreat, but we do have Cyrus in hand, which is good. Maybe he doesn't retreat. Okay, all right, he's just not going to retreat. That's fine. Okay, so this all kind of worked out, I guess, fine anyway, but we were kind of forced into this play regardless. But yeah, we're going to be able to do this. Just go into this EV, beginning Bolt Jolteon KO, and then, yeah, go from there. We do have Sabrina as well. Sabrina's interesting. I'm going to research this turn. We'll KO the Combuskin. And sure. Okay. So we're going to take some damage from something next turn. He's got 10 cards in deck, so we do have quite that bit of hand advantage here, which is pretty good. We have a big hand, so he could copycat us. I don't know if Blaziken typically plays many copycats. He's already played one, I guess. So now he's like, well, what do I go into? He is going to go into Heatmore, which is probably the correct play, considering everything. But what we can do, actually, is just retreat into Jolteon and start to set it up. And if he ever tries to set up energies on a Torchic, we can just bring it up with Cyrus, right? So that's kind of the play. And I don't think really sitting here and doing 40 with this Jolteon makes that much sense, I would imagine. So I'm just going to attach, and I'm going to retreat, come into here. And the healing's probably not really going to matter. I should probably hold this, though, for the Furfrou, I would imagine, because we can Sabrina EV bag. So I'm just going to wait. We have Cyrus in place, so if he benches a Torchic and attaches, we can bring it up with Cyrus and KO. He could also bench the Torchic and not attach, and then just bank on like a Flame Patch play and go 2 in 1 turn. So that's something he definitely could do. And we don't have Disruption, so if he benches a Torchic this turn, that is an easy combo that he could do to just win. He just needs Flame Patch, Rare Candy, Blaziken, and he can get double energies on this turn. Which, in that scenario, we should have maybe stayed in with Jolteon, but if the Blaziken comes out, we always lose the game. We can't deal with the Blaziken. It's always going to have too much HP for us to really do any substantial damage to it. Rocky Helmet comes down. Is he going to retreat into the Furfrou, I wonder? We only do 60 to the Furfrou. No, he's just going to Tongue Whip. Okay. So this is good. Then we have kind of everything we need on the board here to win, which is fine. We will take a little bit of damage, which, again, all good. He might be playing like some type of hand disruption here. We could like use the EV bag this turn, because I guess he's going to take 20 damage either way from the Furfrou if he attaches to it. But he might not attach to it, is the thing, right? So I feel fine just sort of not doing anything and just hitting for 80. We got lucky on that turn where he didn't have Blaziken, but that's all this matchup comes down to, right? Like we have to KO the Combuskins and stuff like before, and the Torchics before they get into Blaziken, because if they just go Rare Candy Blaziken, the game is over. We can't ever do enough. But yeah, we're gonna take that 1 W there. We got a little bit lucky, but you know, it's kind of what Jolteon does best, I suppose. You just gotta, you play fast and you maybe get a little bit lucky. Again, what we could have done there is just not evolved into Jolteon EX and then maybe just drawn into beginning Bolt Jolteon, but we had the other EV anyway, so we could have just done the retreat play. It was safe either way. And again, either way, we ended up losing because of the, you know, if he does have Blaziken or not. So anyway, let's do it. One more game, a couple more games, who knows? What do you guys think about Jolteon? It's definitely a fun deck. I love beginning Bolt Jolteon, and I love like the potential pacing that the card has. But this definitely feels like a going second deck. We've yet to play Suicune, or what are other good matchups for Jolteon? I really don't even know. I guess I should probably pull that up. Let me pull up the matchup data this season on Jolteon and see what we got here. Yeah, it's good into Suicune. It's good into Charizard. Good into Lopunny, which is interesting. Good into the grass decks. Good into all of the grass decks. But other than that, we're playing Blaziken again. Why are we hitting 3 Blazikens in a row? No, it's Charizard. All right. That works fine then. Great. Wouldn't we rather play Charizard? We're going first, though? We are going first. Okay. We do have red and EV Bag in hand. So, I mean, Charizard kind of depends on splitting their energies, right? Although, yeah. So we're safe this turn. We're going to want Jolteon EX, I think, definitely. I don't think Beginning Bolt's going to help us much here. So we want to get this into Jolteon EX pretty quickly. He's going to cape the active, which is all good. He's only going to be able to hit for 60, so we can EV Bag heal. He's going to pass. All right, where's Jolteon EX? Can we draw it here? We're probably going to have to Copycat, in fact. Copycat gives us a better chance here with 5 cards than Research does. We are technically living a hit if we draw Beginning Bolt Jolteon, but we could have played the EV Bags, but I'm just not going to. There's Beginning Bolt and Jolteon EX. No other basics? No, okay. But that's fine, potentially. Fine, we have Rocky Helmet, double EV Bag. And I think we just got to pass. I mean, I just read here. We have technically, Jolteon is a winning matchup into Charizard this season, but feels a little bit sketchy. We are going to take 60 damage here. We can heal 40 technically with the EV Bags, which might be relevant. But then we would still be getting KO'd if he goes double energy on Entei on the following turn. So if he needs to bench a Charmander this turn, he's actually going to Giovanni us to try to 2-hit KO, I guess, somehow. I don't really understand that play too much, but it is what it is. He takes 20 damage here. So this is 120. So if we top deck a red, we actually can just KO him, which would be really funny. Yo! That's hilarious. Okay. All right. We'll just pop off with a double EV Bag red combo with Rocky Helmet. That's pretty funny. What a thing to have happen in this video. I love that. That's incredible. He's going to be a little bit upset about that, I would imagine. What are the odds that we have all 3 of those cards? What is going on? The 140 damage turn from Jolteon. Okay. All right. Well, I guess that's one illustration of Jolteon, right? So he took, I think he didn't even take damage, right? From the ability. The damage can rack up. I guess it does. There are scenarios, right, where playing all of these damage modifiers matters. It probably matters more to like a Suicune lead to more consistently hit that number to KO, right? Because it's a water type. But as we saw, it can work in Entei. So Rocky Helmet, double EV Bag, red, 120 damage, 140 really, in like 1 turn. That's pretty funny. All right, we lost the first couple of games, but we're making a comeback here with Jolteon. I feel like when I record, I typically lose a bunch and then win a bunch. Maybe we'll end up going like 3-3 in this video. I don't know. But the games are going quick. You can kind of get a feel for Jolteon and how quickly you can kind of win games or lose games. And it is sort of an appealing deck to play, just in terms of like the pacing and like feeling like you're kind of doing things quickly. EVEX lead going first is worst case scenario. So let's see what we're playing up against here. And it is going to be Suicune, and he leads Suicune and he goes second. So it's a little bit, it's not great at the moment, I will say. So let's go ahead here. I'm just not going to bench anything. I guess we could Mars us, but I mean, is he going to Mars us? We can afford to bench 1 Eevee, I think. It's fine. And I'll just research, I guess. So we could Copycat next turn. There's another Pokeball. I don't know. Like, I don't really ever play this deck or play this matchup, so my camera's fuzzy right now. I don't really know, like, what we want to do in this particular matchup into Suicune, or if it matters much about the Pokemon we play. So I'm just going to go ahead and not bench that Pokemon this turn. If need be. Will my camera focus? And why is my camera out of focus? It's a great question. What happened to my camera? Should be like auto-focusing. Why am I all fuzzy? Why is my camera fuzzy? Can I change this? Okay, there we go. That did work. He benches Indeedee and just passes. Interesting. We do have red and EV Bag in hand. So honestly, I'm just going to evolve this into Jolteon EX. And I'm just going to attach this and I'm going to pass. Because we can hit for 100 plus red is 120, and if he attaches to Suicune, he takes damage. You know what I mean? So like, oh, but he also has Indeedee though. So I guess that's kind of the issue there. So we'll need like another Eevee bag. I guess that's not super ideal, but we're only going to be taking like 40 damage next turn. So I still think passing here is probably the correct play. Even if we're not going to be able to want to KO the Suicune, I still don't mind this play because, you know, you might not be able to deal that much damage to us. I don't know. We'll see. So he's going to take a little bit here. He goes down to 120. Wait, did I do my math wrong? Yeah, I did. Well, he's going to Indeedee heal back up to 120. Yeah, we don't have Rocky Helmet. So Rocky Helmet would have helped us a lot here. The Indeedee makes things a little bit difficult because it counteracts the electromagnetic wall damage. We can hit for 120 with red, but we need another Eevee bag to make this happen. He can only hit us for 60 damage, though. His hand is pretty large. We don't play any hand disruption. If we had just, like, there's so many other scenarios where this would have helped us, but we went first and led Eevee EX, which is, like, by far the worst case scenario. He's going to Misty. Probably to the Frogadier, or to the Froakie, which is a crazy play. He does flip heads. I'm a little bit scared now, I'm not gonna lie. But that is he's gonna take damage from that. So it's interesting. Definitely an interesting play. But he'll hit me for 60, that puts me at 80. We could Eevee bag to heal. We could Eevee bag to heal here. But he's gonna draw extra cards. We can kind of assume that the, you know, whatever it is, the Greninja is probably going to come out next turn. So, okay. We got to think about this logically, if we can. We could Cyrus up the Froakie and KO it. But then we probably just get KO'd after that. I mean, that might be a better play. It might be a better play, actually, to just Cyrus up the Froakie, KO it, not have to deal with Greninja, and then Eevee back to 100, and then hope that he just doesn't have the damage to KO us next turn. Even though we're not dealing any damage, I feel like that I would rather do that. And we'll Eevee bag to heal. Again, if we had Rocky Helmet, this would be way better, but we just don't. And we'll heal for 20. So this brings us up at 100, but there's only going to be 2 Pokemon on the bench. And I'm not going to play that other Eevee, so I'll just KO this Froakie here. And this does take us basically out of contention of being able to KO Suicune next turn, but if we live a hit, then that's totally fine regardless, because we don't have to deal with Greninja. So as long as he doesn't have... Yeah, he can't even KO us next turn. So this was always, I think, the correct play. I don't know what he can do other than just hit us for, like, the total of 80 or whatever. You know, and the next turn we can copycat, maybe draw into another Jolteon EX or something. That seems like a better play, and we'll just hit him in the active, and then we have double Cyrus in the deck. Or we have 1 Cyrus left in the deck. But we have Sabrina in the deck. So Pokeball comes down. This could be another Froakie, but if he attaches to it, then we can just pressure the KO on the Froakie as well. But, I mean, even if he goes Greninja next turn, I just don't really think it matters. Because he's not going to have enough damage this turn, right? He's going to keep attaching to the Froakie. He's going to hit me for 60 here, but that leaves me at 40 HP, so he can't KO me with a Greninja Pig next turn, which is ideal, right? Oh, he's going to Mars us to 2. That's a little bit iffy. All right, let's see what we draw here. Cyrus and Sabrina. Those aren't really good cards, especially without another Jolteon in our hand. Those aren't great. I mean, Cyrus is fine, actually, but what we need is another Jolteon to some degree in the red. I mean, okay. So I think we have to keep the Cyrus for the Suicune to take the 2 prizes. So I guess I'm just going to red. I guess I'm just going to red and then KO and then hope that we can just draw into like a Jolteon or something next turn. But what we have to do is expect the Greninja to come down. So we really need to top deck it. One of our well, I guess we have 3 evolution Pokemon in our deck. They're all going to work. They're all going to work fine because we have Cyrus in hand. So we have 3 out of 10 cards in our deck are evolutions. So Rare Candy Greninja comes down. But what's it going to be? It's going to just be, yeah, it's Water Shuriken, which, you know, doesn't really matter. We either win or lose next turn regardless. So I think this was always the correct play. Cape comes down on the Suicune, doesn't matter really at all. So he can either stay in or retreat into Greninja and KO that way. But we have Cyrus, so it doesn't really matter. I would imagine that's what he does, right? But he has to attach an energy to do this. He's going to watch over, go to 60. Again, we really just need a Jolteon. If we don't draw a Jolteon, then we're kind of cooked. If it's a Jolteon EX, we might also be able to live. Yeah, he's going to stay in here to just draw a card, which is fine. Okay. Let's see what we draw here. If we draw like a draw supporter, then maybe we can live a turn. But if it's beginning bolt Jolteon, actually that would be fine because he didn't retreat. So we have a lot of outs in our deck. Yeah. All right, cool. Cool beans. All right. I mean, I do think the Suicune matchup is good. It's a good matchup for Jolteon, I would imagine. I just think that the pacing and the hitting for weakness and whatnot and the double Cyrus control stuff on the bench with Jolteon's ability, like, you should have a winning matchup in a Suicune. I think Jolteon has a 56% win rate in a Suicune this season, which is pretty decent. So, I mean, what do you guys think of Jolteon? I mean, I don't know. We went 3 losses and then we won 3 games. To me, you know, I think we illustrated everything you need to know about Jolteon, which is that the pacing's really good. It's got a couple of really decent matchups in the beginning, but it's just doesn't have a lot of legs to it. I still think the one Pokeball is sketchy. So again, if I was playing this deck, I would maybe cut something for a Pokeball, but I feel like the damage modification really is your kind of primary win condition in a lot of ways. So I don't really know. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Do you like Jolteon? I know people like Jolteon, so I wanted to make a video about it. The fastest deck in the game, like the one pure aggro deck in the game right now, I would say, which is pretty cool. It's cool to have at least a somewhat viable deck like this. And again, you know, when we talk about the metagame, we talk about Suicune all of the time. It is sort of the most played deck, but, you know, Suicune has a lot of counters to it. You know, you have Decidueye and you have Venusaur. The grass decks do very good into Suicune. You have Oricorio Magnezone, so lightning control, very good into Suicune. And then you have Aggro Lightning, also really good into Suicune. So, you know, we have multiple different options, and I think that Jolteon is a totally viable option in the metagame right now. Very quick games. I mean, 30 minutes, we played a total of like 6 ranked games. So, I mean, the pacing is actually pretty, you know, appealing, I would say. Maybe the most appealing thing of Jolteon in ranked is how many games you can play. Anyway, guys, let's wrap up the video there. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. Link to register for PMPT number 17 down in the description below. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. I don't play Jolteon a lot at all, so, you know, I probably played incorrectly in this video, but I like the deck. It's fun. Shout out to Jolteon. All right, guys, let's get out of here. Peace out. Have a good one. We'll see you guys later. And yeah. Bye.